What I'm about to say is probably going to piss a few of you guys off, because for those of you that refuse to adapt, you will ultimately slowly be phased out of the industry and forced to pursue a different line of work, all because of one thing. And that one thing is AI. Experts predicted in the future, there will be multi-billion-dollar companies run by one person in an army of AI. I can tell you with absolute certainty that if you want to future-proof your business and capitalize on the greatest wealth transfer in human history, there are two things that you need to focus on. Those two things are, so I'm gonna show you guys how to tap into one of the most powerful tools for influence in the entire universe. Why do people trust Dave Ramsey? Is it because he's a certified financial planner? No, he's not. Everyone here talks about ChatGPT. No one talks about Meta's trillion-dollar AI. Oh, I'm an introvert. I don't have a podcast like Dave Ramsey. I'm too old. I'm 50 years old. I can't figure out how to use Google Docs. It doesn't matter, because you simply need to build a micro-personal brand, and it's not about having more attention. It's about...
Get it rolling. Let's get it fired back up after lunch. To kick off an amazing afternoon of day 2 and to finish today super strong, please welcome to the stage, Tim Shucker.
Can you hear the drumming? There's a revolution coming. Fire things that turn me on, drag my dark into the dawn. Can you hear the drumming? There's a revolution coming. Body aches, I'm bound in chains, but there's a fire.
All right, how we doing, ladies and gents?
And hit him, that's all you got, hit him, hit him, hit him.
Let's go. All right, so I'm gonna kick this presentation off with a little bit of a weird question. I accidentally popped the answer up there, but pretend you didn't see it. How much cash can fit inside of a dump truck? Specifically $100 bills rubber banded together. I'll take guesses from the audience right now. All right, you're all wrong. The answer is $1.55 billion. All right, now, ingrain that number in your head and close your eyes and just imagine something. You're sitting in your living room, all of a sudden you hear the loud screeching sound of brakes outside of your house. So you peek through your blinds and here you see a big yellow dump truck full of cash. You're like, what the hell is going on? All of a sudden the dump truck backs into your driveway and dumps all the cash onto your front lawn. Pretty weird situation, right? But it gets weirder because a few minutes goes by and then there's another dump truck and then another one and then another one. And before you know it, there's big yellow dump trucks filled with cash as far as your eye can see lined up outside of your house. So you call a couple of your friends, you're like, what is going on? They say, turn on the news. So you turn the news on, there's 64,516 dump trucks lined up for miles and miles on the highway. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the $100 trillion great wealth transfer, a number that is so big you can't even fathom it, but let's try. $100 trillion, ladies and gentlemen. That's 64,516 dump trucks, each filled with $1.55 billion in cash. And if you took those trucks and you stacked them bumper to bumper on the highway, they would go all the way from Plano down to Dallas, down to Austin, south of Austin to San Antonio, and a little bit south of San Antonio for 340 miles of dump trucks, each filled with $1.55 billion in cash. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the opportunity that we're talking about. Now, let me explain what that is. You see, baby boomers are the wealthiest generation to have ever lived in the history of humanity. And right now, the wealthiest generation to have ever lived is retiring and dying in droves. No offense to any of my baby boomers in the crowd, we love you. So the question is that you need to be asking, where is all of that money going? And that's exactly what I'm going to be answering in this presentation today. I'm going to show you guys where it's going and how you can capture just a small, tiny sliver of that wealth. Who here is okay with a small, tiny sliver of $100 trillion? All right. Let's go. So, according to the experts, some of the money will be passed in real estate, Some will be passed down in stocks, but a massive portion will flow through life insurance and through annuities. Let me explain. That sounds a little weird. You see, Ernst & Young is one of the biggest accounting firms in the world. They advise banks, billion-dollar companies, and even governments on financial strategy, investing, and retirement. And basically, they got their army of super nerds to conduct a study to find out what would be the perfect retirement plan, right? And here's what they found. If you split up the retirement pie, it should look something like this. 40% in stocks, 30% in life insurance, and 30% in annuities. Who here has ever seen someone recommend this? Sounds a little weird, right? Well, why on earth would they recommend that? Is it because they sell life insurance? Well, the answer is no, they don't. They're an accounting firm, right? So here's why. Well, with annuities, people that have annuities are scientifically proven to live longer and happier lives if they have guaranteed income. Does that make it easier to sell or what? Right? Life insurance. Life insurance. Why do they recommend life insurance? Well, it's because you can pass wealth tax-free to the next generation. And when the market's down, you can borrow against it so you don't have to take money out of your portfolio. So ladies and gentlemen, would it be fair to say that an avalanche of cash is about to pour down onto our industry? Yes or no? All right. And in fact, it's already happening. You see, just last year, there was $434 billion in annuity sales. In IUL, $3.8 billion in IUL sales last year. So ladies and gentlemen, how big is this opportunity? It is so big that if every single one of you became a seven-figure earner overnight, it wouldn't even begin to scratch the surface on the size of the market. There is no lack of money in the industry that we are in. You see, this shift, ladies and gentlemen, will create generational wealth for a select number of agents who use the right systems and the right technology. But a quick warning, because what I'm about to say is probably going to piss a few of you guys off, because for those of you that refuse to adapt, you will ultimately slowly be phased out of the industry and forced to pursue a different line of work, all because of one thing. And that one thing is AI. You see, AI can either be your worst enemy, like the Terminator right there, or it can be your best friend. But that all comes down to whether you choose to either use it or be replaced by another agent who will. Because ladies and gentlemen, whatever technology advances, people get replaced. This is what boats used to look like, believe it or not. Look how many people are on there. 80 oarsmen to row the boat, 6 sail handlers, 4 lookouts, 4 support crew, 1 captain, for a total of 95 people for one boat. Compare that with a boat of today. You have 1 captain and 1 happy wife for a total of 2 people. Technology always reduces the amount of people that are needed. Experts predicted in the future, there will be multi-billion-dollar companies run by one person and an army of AI. Imagine a one-person Facebook, a one-person Apple, a one-person Microsoft. So my question to all of you in the audience here is, are you really naive enough to stick your head in the sand, do the ostrich thing, and believe that this isn't coming to our industry too? Because right now there's 2 million licensed agents in the country to do the amount of production that is done. I'm here speaking to you guys at the 8% conference, but in the future, it won't be the 8%. It'll be the 1%. And the 1% will make more than the 99% of the industry combined. You see, my prediction is that it's ultimately going to be feast or famine in the future. And my goal with this presentation is to make sure that every single one of you in this room has the tools and resources necessary to be a part of the 1%. You guys okay with that? All right, now, let's go on. Now, I can't predict the future, but I can tell you with absolute certainty that if you want to future-proof your business and capitalize on the greatest wealth transfer in human history, there are 2 things that you need to focus on. Those 2 things are AI and building a personal brand. All right? Now, here's what we're gonna cover. How to capture a slice of the $100 trillion wealth transfer pie. How to build a micro personal brand in 1 week or less so that you can ethically brainwash wealthy clients into picking you over every other agent, and how you can use AI to put yourself light years ahead of 99% of other agents. Let's dive in. So we're gonna kick this off by talking about brainwashing. All right, brainwashing is basically just persuasion through repetition. All right, so let's compare what a normal insurance agent's business looks like. So you get leads. Those leads then book appointments, right? Does that mean you're making sales? Yes or no? No, you're getting objections. Objections like, I need to do some research first. What's the name of your company? I'm gonna talk to my advisor first, or Dave Ramsey says this sucks. Who has ever heard that one, right? Now, are those even real objections? Yes or no? No, they are simply caused by a lack of trust. So I'm gonna show you guys how to tap into one of the most powerful tools for influence in the entire universe. And it's not magic, it's ancient psychology. And that is called the expert effect, all right? Now, let's go back to this guy. Why do people trust Dave Ramsey? Is it because he's a certified financial planner? Yes or no? No, he's not, right? Why do people trust this guy? Dr. Phil, is he a real doctor? Yes or no? No, he's not a real doctor. So why do people trust him, right? Why was he paid millions of dollars to be a spokesperson for a diabetes drug? He's not even a doctor. Well, what about this guy, Dr. Oz? Is he a real doctor? He actually is. Trick question. But what does he know about running Medicare and Medicaid for the entire country? I don't know. Now, these people are not respected because they're right. And they're not respected because they're smarter than you. They're respected and they have influence because they're perceived as experts. You see, they're tapping into something that is deeply implanted into our primal brains that we can't control. And it's called the expert effect. Who here has ever seen this guy that's on the left? Warren Buffett, right? We all know who that is. Do you know who's on the right? That's his billion-dollar business partner, Charlie Munger. And he has these things called the cognitive biases. We're gonna get a little in the weeds on the psychology here. So there's different biases, and he says that if you want to understand how humans act, and you want to be able to influence and persuade them, you need to understand the cognitive biases. So one of them is the authority bias, right? This is where you believe and trust people that are authorities. Cody could have pulled me here off the street and put me on stage, but you guys are listening to what I'm saying because I'm on here. That's the authority bias, right? The familiarity bias. The more often you see someone or see something, the more likely you are to listen to them. The liking bias. Who here has ever heard those do business with people they know, like, and trust? Right? That's the liking bias. And the social proof bias. People follow the herd. And when you stack all of these up, ladies and gentlemen, people trust you and people buy from you. All right? Now, before you think or say something completely stupid, right? I know exactly what you're thinking right now. David Goggins calls it the whiny little bitch in the back of your head, right? This is what that guy's saying right now. Oh, I'm an introvert. I don't have a podcast like Dave Ramsey. I don't have a radio show. I don't want to be famous. I'm too old. I'm 50 years old. I can't figure out how to use Google Docs. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter, all right? Because you simply need to build a micro-personal brand, and it's not about having more attention. It's about having the right attention of the right people. Does that make sense? All right, and if you do that, you can legitimately make millions of dollars per year, which I'll show you proof in just a second, and become irreplaceable by AI. Now, let me explain what I'm talking about. And I'm gonna show you how you can create that personal brand in less than 1 week. So, this is a guy on YouTube. His name is Stan the Annuity Man. All he does is make YouTube videos about, you guessed it, annuities. And he is recognized as the top producing annuity agent in the entire country from YouTube videos about annuities. This guy, who has ever heard of David McKnight? Power of Zero, teaches people how to retire with paying zero taxes. This guy's making millions of dollars a year from this expert personal brand he's created. Or Tom Hegna, who I interviewed on my YouTube channel, responsible for $1 billion in annuity sales. None of these guys are celebrities, right? But they're all making millions of dollars per year from their brands. Like I said, it's not about having more attention. It's about having the attention of the right people. Now, again, here goes the whining little bitch again, right? I know what you guys are thinking. Don't let your limiting beliefs get in the way, right? Oh, but I don't have time to write a book. Those guys have been posting content consistently for years. I'm not an expert like them, right? It doesn't matter. I'm going to show you guys a way where you can speed run your way to building that micro personal brand and start being respected as an expert and ultimately being able to influence people to convert at a higher level. Does that sound good? All right. Now, I can say that because I literally did it myself. In case you can't tell, that's me in the pink polo. I filmed an ad called 3 Things You Need to Know Before Buying an IUL. I then sent them to a video, 3 Things You Need to Know Before Buying an IUL. Then I gave them the opportunity to book an appointment on my calendar, and here were the results. 25% of my overall leads booked an appointment directly on my calendar. Guys, my cost per booked appointment was $78.19. Some of you guys in this room right now are paying more than that per lead. This is per appointment. I had people texting me their illustrations saying, hey, can you review this? Can you tell me if this is set up properly? I had a business owner jump on Zoom, wanted to put in 24 grand a year into an IUL. Real estate investor wanted to buy a $500,000 annuity. A college professor wanted to buy a $7,200 IUL. Debt-free life, 51K IUL. A vice president of a company emailed me over all of his illustrations and said, hey, can you review this and tell me if this is set up properly? And a secretary, 150K annuity. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have something to reveal to you. I am not an IUL or annuity expert. I understand how they work, but I'm not an expert on the level of Tom Hegna or David McKnight or Stan the Annuity Man on YouTube, right? So I decided to bring in somebody who was. There's a guy in the crowd, looks a little bit like Brad Pitt. His name is Josh Harris, $100,000 a month producer. And working these leads in 28 days, part-time, I don't know if you guys can see this, $88,000 in AP from less than $3,000 in spend. And a $250,000 annuity to stack on top of that. Here's a screenshot from his IMO, so you know I didn't just make this up. Now, his total commission was around $60,000. $60,000, less than $3,000 spent on leads. That's $57,000 in profit, working part-time. Since April 14th, he's written nearly $200,000 in IUL and $483K in annuity. That's on less than $10,000 spent on leads. Now imagine, ladies and gentlemen, if you were doing just a fraction of what Josh is doing right now, except you were doing it full-time, you were the one positioned as the expert instead of him, and you spent more than $2,800 on ads. Would that be cool or what? Now, we started setting up the system for other agents. Here's Cole, same thing. Video ad, him as the expert. Sent him to an expert educational video. $23,000 on his first lead. In his first month, $85K. Less than $4 grand spent. We did the same thing for annuity. An agent right there. Expert ad, expert video. Boom. Look at these leads. Look at these leads. 2 mil to 5 mil. And this was 20 leads, $64 per annuity lead, and less than $1,300 spent. Another agent, he's sitting here in the crowd, kind of looks like Santa Claus. His name is Charles. $416K in annuity in his first month. Boom. $110K in commissions in his last 2.5 months, ladies and gentlemen. Brand new agent, Connor. Video ad, expert video. This is what I'm talking about, the micro expert brand. You guys even know who this guy is? No. But he's positioned as an expert, right? He's working on, brand new agent. He's working on a deal right now. This guy, if it goes through, it'll pay him $378,000 in commission on one policy. That's insane. I've never heard of that in my life. So how are they doing that? How are they getting such quality leads? Well, again, they're building a brand and they're using AI. Everyone here talks about ChatGPT. No one talks about using Meta's $1 trillion AI. We can train Facebook to give us higher quality leads when you generate them on your own account. See? Just like this. Facebook sends us a lead. If they're a qualified buyer, we say, send it back to Facebook, and we say, this is good. If they send us someone we don't want, we say, this is bad, and all of a sudden, it's called our pixel, optimizes for the right people, right? Now, all of those agents, they have something that you don't have yet. All of them are working with advanced agent marketing. They basically have an 800-pound gorilla in their corner fighting for them, right? So we set this up. We do all of the marketing for them, everything on that end. If you guys want to learn more about that, come to our booth. It's right outside of those double doors there. We're happy to speak with you, and if it's a good fit, we could potentially work together. Alrighty, so I created a guide called the Insurance Agent's Guide to the AI Revolution. Here's what I'm gonna give: top 3 ways to use AI that are so powerful they should be illegal. An AI appointment setter bot, the 10 most effective, insane ChatGPT prompts. We created an AI that will literally role play with you to help you close more deals. A 7-day personal brand launch plan to help you guys get your personal brand launched as soon as possible. And a bonus, I'm gonna give you guys all a case study vault so you can see what these other agents are doing that you aren't. So, to finish this off, guys, it's game 7. The shot clock is winding down. The ball is in your hands. Are you gonna take the shot, or are you gonna sit on the sidelines and let another agent get rich? Because at this point, all of your eyes have been opened. You understand the great wealth transfer. You understand what's coming on with AI. So at this point, you have 2 options. You can take the blue pill, go back to buying leads, pretend none of this ever happened, and go right back to what you were doing before when you wake up tomorrow. Or you can take the red pill. See just how far the rabbit hole goes. Scan that card. I'll see you guys soon.